Welcome back everyone to another video, and in this video I'm going to run through every single cost as a property investor you can expect when you purchase an investment property. Now this is going to be a boring video with me mainly talking, but I'm just going to run through every single cost because I think it's important for investors to be aware how expensive property investing can be and why every decision you make is a crucial one. Now for this example, we're going to use a 500k asset. We're going to assume a 20% deposit, so your rough loan amount is going to be around $400,000. Your interest rate roughly 6.5% based on current interest rate environments. Could be lower, could be less depending on the bank, the tier, the lender, etc. And we're going to assume around a $500 rental income per week, which will give us a 5.2% yield. Let's start off with the biggest payment, which is your mortgage interest payments. Now, this is the cost of borrowing money from the bank. It is usually the biggest expense paid monthly from your loan, right? Now, it can be paid weekly, it could be paid fortnightly, you can make extra repayments, but most investors will be paying your repayments annually on a specific date, which is usually the settlement date of the property. Now, if you are on interest only, your repayments are fully deductible. If you are on P&I, which is principal and interest, that means your interest part only is tax deductible. Now, the next one is your loan annual fee or your renewal fee. Now, your renewal fee is going to be around $350. Again, it depends on the lender. Some lenders don't actually have any. Most lenders will have a renewal fee every single year, roughly in the range of $350 to $500, which is charged on an annual basis. And they make a crap ton of money doing this, but it's just one of the things we have to accept when we get a mortgage out. Next most important expense, or one of the mandatory expenses you will face, is council and state government charges, right? Now, this once again is usually a pretty big expense every single year, and depending on the council and area, it can vary. For example, if you're in North Queensland or far North Queensland, usually locations like Townsville, Rockhampton, Gladstone, they will have much higher council rates, much higher water rates in general, and also much higher insurance rates than in comparison to, say, Victoria or New South Wales. It's just the nature of it. And so that's something you have to really factor in. Where some locations, the council rates could be $3,500 to $4,000 per year. And for those of you who don't know what council rates are, they are local council charges for services like roads, libraries, waste collection, and they usually will be billed quarterly, every 3 months, where you'll be expected to make a payment. Now, this can be paid up in front annually as well. That's really up to you and how you want to manage your finances. I generally just pay it annually. It just gets it out of my brain. I don't have to think about it ever again. And it's usually paid by my property manager off the rental income in one go. Now, in a very similar vein, we have water rates. Now, water rates means access to water charges, to sewage charges, and the tenants, they will pay the consumption of the water rate, but not the fixed service fee, right? You are responsible for providing water and sewage services. Hence, you are responsible for the fixed service fees. Tenants will only pay the consumption. Once again, these are all tax deductible. And once again, I also get the property manager to deal with this expense. Now, depending on which state you're in, you will have land tax. Now, it'll also depend on the structure you go for, say a trust or a company, that will determine how much land tax you need. In Victoria, it's pretty common knowledge. It has land tax. Roughly for a 500k property, it's around $1,500, which you will have to make a payment of annually as well. Now, one thing I have here is the Emergency Services Levy or fire levy. Now, this is a charge in Victoria, which is to fund the emergency services like fire brigades, and this is actually included into your council rates. It will come up as a separate line item. However, it will come on the council rate bill in total. Now, similar to this, we'll have the waste management fees. Again, it depends state by state and how they actually bill it out to you, but it's usually within the council rates as a separate line item. And this is essentially just for rubbish collection. And once again, you have to pay for this because it's a fixed service essentially to allow your tenants to dispose of their rubbish. Pretty straightforward. Your council rates are important, they are mandatory, and you will have to pay them. And it can rack up to quite a bill depending on the state you're in, but it's something you have to do. And if you haven't already, guys, I do have a property education program called the Property Blueprint, where I go over countless different concepts to take you to be one of the top 1% of investors out there. We have over 300 members, part of the community as well, who can help you through the content, course, and information, and it's only $349, guys. It is the most affordable property education program out there in the current market, and the reason I do it is because I want to keep property education affordable. There's over 60 plus hours of video content, 8 plus in-depth modules, and you can see the full education curriculum right here. and you can go through every single video, right? So if you have any questions at all, put it down in the comments below, and also jump into the private community and we will help you out and grab the property blueprint. Now, the next thing is insurance. Now, once again, insurance is so incredibly important. When you're buying a $500,000 to $1 million asset, you don't want to be making silly decisions and not have insurance. You need to make sure you are covering the right things on your insurance policy as well. And I may make a separate video about that. Leave a comment down below if you would like me to. Now, what I usually get is building and contents plus landlord insurance. For most properties around $500,000 to $600,000, it's going to be roughly around $2,000. Now, once again, if you are in a high risk environment, or you're in a flood zone, or you're in a cyclone zone like Townsville, Darwin, etc., you will likely have much higher insurance rates, around $3,000 to $4,000. Again, you need to factor this into your costing, right? Because say it's around $3,000, this will drastically change how much your net yield will end up being. But it's a cost that is absolutely vital. You do not want to have a property without insurance, because otherwise you'll be paying off the debt with your own cold card hash if something were to happen to your property. Now, my advice is to specifically shop around for insurance every single year, because you can find better deals, or you can ask them to beat the deal. In some zones like Townsville, you can talk to specific insurance companies that work with a lot of flood overlaid properties, and they will be able to provide additional cover if the property is in a flood zone, cyclone zone, etc. But building and contents and landlord insurance is what I usually get. Some people do not cover the contents within their property, like the carpets, blinds, etc., and they only get building and landlord. That's an absolute minimum for me. And usually when you purchase an investment property, the bank will make you purchase an insurance policy before you settle on the asset. Now, the next one is strata building insurance. Now, this is not a common one, but if you buy a townhouse that's under a strata title, or you buy an apartment complex, you will have strata building insurance, which you have to pay for usually annually or quarterly. And this could range from anywhere from like $300 a quarter to around $800 a quarter, which could add up to like $2,400 per year or $3,200 per year, something like that. This can also be very, very expensive, especially if you're in an apartment. Strata can go out of the roof, so be careful of that. Now, what's another major expense that you will have, but I think an absolutely critical one, is property management and leasing. I have a property manager for all my properties. Some people choose to rent it out themselves. I can't be bothered. I'm a lazy ass investor. And so I have property managers and I pay them a good amount of money. And generally, property management fees are going to be around 6 to 10% depending on the area. Once again, I must say all of this stuff can be very area dependent, but generally around 7% is what you expect for a $500K property at $500 rent. That's around $1,800 to your property manager straight. Now, what this actually covers is like your manager will be responsible for collecting the rent. They will be responsible for handling tenants. They can be responsible for maintaining requests, paying bills, etc. If you find a really good property manager, they will make your life extremely easy, right? If you have a bad one, they will make your life extremely stressful. And there's nuances on how to pick the right one. But that's another important cost. Now, when you purchase an investment property, you will have letting and releasing fees. And even every year, if you don't negotiate the terms, they will charge you a reletting fee or a renewal fee as well, like lease renewal, releasing fees. They will charge you that. You will also have marketing costs to find a tenant. They could also traditionally charge you tribunal costs or debt collection costs and etc. There's a lot of fees that can come under property management that when you actually sign with them, please make sure you read all the terms and conditions and you read through every single fee that they could possibly charge you, because there could be a lot. Now, one thing I will say, some property managers, they will charge you a higher upfront percentage, like 8 or 9%, but they won't have any of these small other fees like tribunal costs, debt collection costs, administration fees, etc. While some property managers will charge you a very low upfront fee, like 5 to 6%, but then nickel and dime you on every single little thing that you want to be done. So be very careful about which property manager you go with. Read the terms and conditions very carefully before signing with them. Now, some people think that when you buy an investment property, it's just buy and hold for the rest of your life. Properties are like cars. You need to maintain them. And if you have tenants, they're not going to maintain them properly, especially if they're not bad ones, right? So it's really important you have money set aside for maintenance, repairs, and upkeep. General repairs and maintenance, I always allocate around $1,500 to $2,000 per year because, there is a lot of general wear and tear that happens to the property. There's gardening and lawn care. Usually the tenant will be responsible. Sometimes some properties have a lot of trees and they have a lot of bushes that you may actually have to help in and chip in a little bit to help maintain those bushes, shrubs, and trees. Especially when you have large trees on gutters, you will need to make sure you do gutter cleaning to make sure they are clean and won't cause damage to your property. Now, if you have pest control, now usually what's good is to do a pest inspection every single year just to make sure your property is insect and termite free to ensure that no other serious damage is being done to your property. Now, you can also have, if you have pools, you will have pool servicing. You'll need to make sure the pool is compliant. You need to make sure it's clean. You need to make sure it's functioning right. And that can really add up in cost as well. In some states, you'll have gas and electricity checks and smoke alarm checks like Victoria, which can really add up. Now, these aren't always necessarily annual, especially the gas and electric safety checks, which are biannual, and the smoke alarm is annual as well. So you need to make sure you factor these in. Now, this is not something I've added a cost in because it's not really annual or reoccurring cost every single year. However, it can be a cost that you need to factor in. Painting and upkeep, right? Like, so if the paint is very old and it's starting to wear down or any other damage done to the property cosmetically, you need to help upkeep that and maintain that so it doesn't get worse and worse. You may have appliances breakdown. This is why I have the general repairs and maintenance. And I've already mentioned the roof, gutter, and cleaning. And now, if you buy an apartment or a townhouse with many complexes or many blocks, you will end up having body corporate or strata. And this is once again can be extremely costly. So if you do have an apartment, you really need to factor this in because it can really blow out. Like I've seen some extremely high strata bills, which can really affect your net income after that point, right? So really understand what you're getting yourself into if you buy an apartment or a townhouse with many blocks in them. Now, I think one thing that gets hidden and not talked about enough is accountant and tax management fees. When you have a lot of properties, your tax bill is huge, your return is also bigger, but you're also paying the accountant so much freaking money, it's actually crazy. However, your accountant and tax management fees, if it's generally under personal name and stuff like that, it's pretty straightforward. It's going to be around $250 per for an accountant and then another $200 for each investment property. So you say if you had 5 investment properties, it'd be like $1,000 plus your normal cost. So you really need to factor this in, and it can really vary overall, depending on the number of properties you have, the structure of them, etc. There's also bookkeeping, legal fees, audit fees, depending on the structure you go for. Again, these are nuanced and really depends on where you are in your journey, how many investment properties you have, and the structure of them, and trust accounting cost. If you have trusts or properties under trust, you will have compliance cost every single year, which the accountants do charge you a silly little dime for. So you really need to make sure that when you do purchase under trust, the numbers make sense for you and you're doing it in a smart way to build your property portfolio carefully. And the last cost I would say is like another hidden cost is a loss of rent during vacancy. When you switch over tenants or you're settling on a property and you can't get a tenant at settlement, you will have a vacancy period which will lead to loss of rent, whether that's 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and that 2 weeks would be around $1,000 per year, right? So this is important to understand because all these costs can add up to your overall expenses and to your net profit essentially. Now, obviously, this is what happens when you start out investing in property on your first year of reoccurring expenses. Over time, your property will grow in value and will also grow in terms of the amount of rent that you pay. This rent will go up to $600 and to $700, and the longer you hold, the higher the rent will be and the better the yield will get for you. And that means less out-of-pocket expenses. But for those of you who think property investment is easy, especially the people who don't even own property and they talk about how property investment is just all sunshine and rainbows, it's a really expensive exercise and it can really drain the pocket of an individual. So if you don't need to buy a property or you're about to buy a property and you're second guessing yourself, that's good because that's normal. You need to be second guessing yourself. You need to be understanding, have I made the right decision? Am I buying the right property that fits my strategy? Can I manage these expenses? I have 2 kids. I have got 3 kids. One of them is going to private school. Can we manage all those expenses, etc.? It's really important to understand what you're getting yourself into because this number every year out of pocket isn't fun. And yes, you get some of it back at tax. Yes, your property will grow in value, but you day to day, you won't feel like a millionaire and it's not that fun. But in the long run, it will definitely help. Obviously, I haven't covered every single expense in this video. However, I've covered most of them and the most important ones. I didn't factor any of the buying costs in here. This is more about the cost of holding a property every single year. So I hope this video has helped you guys. Till next time, thank you very much.